Hey Chasers, welcome back. We are here again. I'm Lydia and this is Eric.
Hello.
You are Book Nerds of the Month. We're talking about our February book releases. This is our February book haul. And we've got 4 cool books to tell you all about. So get ready, get pumped. New Year's resolutions are still going. It's only February, so keep it up.
Yeah.
The first one I want to share with you, this really pretty cover. This is called All the Colors We Will See by Patrice Gopo. And basically her story is she was born in Anchorage, Alaska, but both of her parents are first-generation immigrants from Jamaica. And so this is actually a collection of essays. It's sort of like Toni Morrison-esque. Like those are kind of the vibes that I got, and in the best way. It's kind of like a modern voice to that same sort of heart and feel. But she basically goes through kind of her childhood and tells some stories about just kind of growing up. She was one of the only Black students and also definitely one of the only Jamaicans in her town, and so she just kind of grew up in that kind of culture. She was used to it, it was fine, but she didn't really know who she was. She was very intrigued by the rest of the world and just kind of seeing images of people who look like her in other countries, and she was very intrigued by that. And so she kind of talks about what that meant for her growing up, and just goes into a lot of different topics from when she goes to college and she finally makes friends with other Black Americans and doesn't really identify with them in the way that she expected to. And so she kind of talks about what that meant to her and how that affected her. But she goes into a lot of things and talks about just really what identity means. A lot of different cultural things as well, like growing up when she starts looking for jobs, like why is straight hair considered professional? Things that we might not think about, but just as a Jamaican and as a Black American, things that she's dealt with, and she's like, why is this a thing?
I love the essay
really interesting
format.
Yeah, it's really a great one. If you're doing the Pop Sugar Challenge, this would be a book by a woman of color. It might even be considered an anthology depending on your definition.
Probably passes the Bechdel test too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But this is a great one. Like you can pick it up and read little bits of it, and it's just something that really opens your perspective. Really gave me a lot to reflect on, just knowing how to relate to other people, not make assumptions about people, and it's just a really good message. She's reflecting on just all the things that have shaped her and made her who she is, and she's got a really great voice. So this is definitely one that you'll want to pick up, and I highly recommend it. It's called All the Colors We Will See.
All right, next up we have another book with somebody far from home, but that is the only thing that these two have in common. This is The Swords of Silence by Shaun. It is historical fiction, which I love. It's one of my favorite genres. And this one is about Japan right before the shogunate, so feudal Japan, samurais and all that good stuff, but from the perspective of a Portuguese missionary named Joaquim Martinez. He's our protagonist, and it's right before the shogunate, the military dictatorship of Japan, kind of starts pushing all the foreigners out, and that includes the missionaries, and they really don't like Christianity, and it's just kind of about, it's a different perspective on Christianity kind of being ostracized, and they're definitely in the minority. Christianity's only been in Japan for about 40 years at this point, I think, in the 16th century. So it's just really interesting to kind of hear that perspective, and Shaun is an extremely intelligent and clearly very well versed on this part of Japanese and Christian history. But I highly recommend picking this one up. Great historical fiction. You'll finish it in a couple weeks.
And that cover is really epic. I'm a fan.
Yeah. It's the first one of a trilogy, the Swords of Fire trilogy, and I love the cover.
It's very cool. Sweet. So the next one I'm going to share with you all, we need this so much. I need this, and this is why I grabbed it, because it just grabbed me. It's called The Grumble-Free Year. It's by Tricia Goyer, who, if you have seen the movie Mom's Night Out, she actually wrote the novelization of that movie.
Oh, cool.
So she is an author, she is a mother, a wife, and this is a book that kind of came out of a challenge and an idea that she had for her family, just after a long time feeling really bogged down by all the whining and the complaining. So this is an 11-person family. It's Tricia, her husband, her mother who lives with them, and 8 children, 7 of which are adopted. So just picture all of this in your head, all the insanity, different ages, kids that have come from different backgrounds, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain that have come into this family to love each other, but there's just so much to contend with. And Tricia actually homeschools all of her children as well.
My gosh.
And she's a writer, just very inspiring person.
Does she tell you what a grumble is?
Yes.
Is that a specific?
I was like, if you don't complain.
Yeah.
But actually, this is sort of an exploration of like grumbling, complaining, muttering, really just not communicating.
Just holding stuff in
a positive way. Yeah. And she talks about sort of how this is personal for her. Like when she was growing up, her family, she says, did not respond well to like big emotions, is how she puts it. So like they don't yell at each other, but they'll grumble and they'll hold it in, and then it'll just explode one day because they don't communicate their needs. So it's not them trying to not express what they need, because one of her kids asked when they were talking about this, like, does that mean I can't tell you when I'm hungry? Like, no, that's not what this means. It's really just communicating what's actually going on. And so they kind of explore this, and this book is full of like really interesting, for one, what they did, how they taught their children, not necessarily taught them not to grumble, but why it matters, like how to be grateful instead of complaining about things, and just trying to kind of spin that on its head. Like when you're thinking as a mom, oh, the house is always messy, change that to my children are capable of helping me clean, or I have so much to do, well, I can help, ask for help. And so she helps you get that new perspective. But it's just really interesting. She talks about how it affects her and her family, just as a group together in their relationships. One of the stories that I thought was really cool was one of her teenage girls who was adopted was having an attitude, just kind of the grumbly, like not having any of it. And Tricia went to her and it was like, let's talk about this, what's really going on, because they had started to adopt this habit of let's talk about it, and not just grumble and mutter and walk away. And the girl just burst into tears and was able to express like she had been feeling guilty and just a lot of pain from her background, and just thoughts about her biological parents who weren't really in the picture anymore. And so just being able to go and be there for her and just help, put some healing into place. This is a really
kids. I would grumble.
A really cool one.
There are 8 kids.
Yeah, and they range from like age 23 to maybe 6 or 7, I think.
Okay, well at least a few are hopefully out of the house.
Yeah. So this is also neat. Like if you're doing a small group or a book club or something, or even like a family, something you can read with your family. Yeah, there's reflection questions at the end of each chapter, and there's also like a little your turn section. So that might be maybe make a gratitude jar or make a poster of a quote or something that you can put up in your home that you see that will remind you to be positive.
Yeah, very, very resolution.
Yeah, very
Keep that
cool.
New Year's spirit in February, everybody.
Yeah, honestly, if you're trying to just have a better attitude and be more grateful, this is a really encouraging read. Like, they are not perfect, they are not even close, and I know I'm not, and I can't imagine just the dynamics of this family taking this challenge. Like, if they can do it, anybody can.
Exactly.
But it's a really cool read.
Speaking of changing your attitude, get your whole life back. Get your life back by John Eldredge. It's our book of the month. We're very excited about this one. It's John Eldredge. He's a great writer. I really love the way he uses scripture and kind of works it in. This book is kind of just about. He talks about that childhood kind of lighthearted feeling we used to all feel, just kind of carefree and like it's all taken care of. And he kind of takes that from an adult perspective, like how can we get ourselves back to feeling like that, to taking the joy of every day. And he kind of gets us there through things he calls like benevolent detachment, which is truly letting go, kind of like a meditative reflection time, which goes into his other stuff. He's always talking about disconnecting and unplugging and getting outside. As you can tell, this super cool cover got this boat
and he
on
did Wild at Heart, didn't he?
Wild at Heart, that's right. Yeah, and we actually have a giveaway this month where we'll be giving away hardcovers of these and these Ransom Heart, which is his website. These Yeti
Those are super cool.
which are awesome. I love
Definitely
these
something
things.
I would take camping.
Keeps your coffee hot all day.
Yes.
Perfect size. I like these
Can't
sizes.
recommend.
But yeah, so we'll have that giveaway. Just pay attention to our Instagram. And thanks so much for watching. This is our February book haul. Check them out. Comment. Let us know what you think. Follow, subscribe. Available on audio. All of the above. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys in a month.
Bye.